We're cool.
Hi, everybody. This is Underground Noise. You're here on the air with the band Knell, all the way from Chile, South America. I love you guys. You guys rock.
Thank you, man.
Got your record right there.
Nice.
It's a blast.
Awesome.
Looking from the left to the right, I see Jefferson holding the microphone.
Yes.
Luis is on the right, and then we've got Mario in the middle.
Perfect. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, first off, I'd like to ask you guys, who are your influences both musically and personally?
I mean, myself, from solo musicians to the typical metal guys, the typical metal bands, Death, Cannibal Corpse, progressive music, a lot of stuff, actually. Not a specific genre, I mean, actually, lots of them.
Very, very cool.
Here I mean Death, Sepultura, Carcass. What else?
Well, for me, it
Yeah,
was
the same.
basically Death in the beginning. Where we were all, real fans of Death when we began the band, and after that, Carcass 2 and Morbid Angel, and all this kind of death metal like
Suicide.
sort of evil stuff. So we're still into it, but we also, I mean, in my case, I'm also a fan of all this kind of Swedish and Norwegian avant-garde, like Arcturus and Beat the Soul and like. So we are, we have pretty different influences depending on which member of the band you speak with.
I see. Are there anybody that influenced you personally?
Like a musician, you mean?
Or
Like either a musician or say maybe like a family member that helped you have good vibes about what you're doing? Like the fans or anything like that?
No one, in fact.
No,
Yeah,
no one.
actually, nobody.
Nice.
Nobody.
actually,
Actually, we're orphans.
no, we're not all of us, but always were very much like you want to be a musician, you're pretty doomed. So we did it anyways, but.
Exactly.
I mean, now our families are proud, that we have the album and everything. But before that,
In time, my family was against the fact that that I want to be musician. So my launching of the album in October. When we launched the album, there was my mother and my father.
I mean,
yeah. I don't know if you did get that, but basically when we released the album, his family was there, so
Against.
it was really, no, but that day they were.
I don't know,
beginning.
of course, in the beginning there were some sort of against, but when
Yeah.
the album was released and we actually had the presentation, they were there. So
Yeah.
some sort of they changed their minds or something.
Yeah, because I remember when I first saw you guys on Facebook and you guys were talking with me, I said, wow, these guys seem really, really cool. I'd like to get to know them a little better. And so
Nice to
now that we're doing this interview, it's actually really cool. Inside my head here. How was the CD release party that you guys did? Was it a success? Like, how was the turnout of the fans? Like, did a lot of people show up?
I mean, the sound was great. There were many people there. We felt great in the sense that it was a great show. Of course, when it comes to underground, I think it is the same thing there. You don't have all, the amount of people that you would like to have, but we still had, a lot of people, coming and supporting us, and it was a memorable show for us. It was the ending for a very long period for us. Between the two demos that we had, like since 2004, and finally the album. So I don't know. It's a mix. We're proud of it. We liked it. But of course, when it comes to underground music, you can always have some more support. Where you are. I don't know. I don't know if any of you guys think.
Same here. Pretty much the same. Of course, the support of people is always important, but when it comes, when you're actually talking about underground music, it is never actually what you actually want to. But either way, it was a pretty cool show. Everything was good from the lightnings. I mean, everything was excellent.
That is so cool. I wish I could have been there because I remember getting the flyers in the mail and I was like, oh man, if I could have been there, I'd be right up front.
Yeah, perfect. And pretty much the whole show is recorded, so now we have lots of material to actually show to people what you actually did that day.
That's really cool. Are you guys planning on releasing that on DVD possibly?
No. The point with the DVD is that uh, we don't like to speak about a lot about money, but it wasn't cheap to do it. So we didn't have the money to produce the sound as we would have liked to. So all the recordings that you may see on YouTube or some of the channels, all of them recorded with the camera only. So it doesn't it is not good enough for a DVD, but trust me, we're doing everything we can to give them enough sound quality to to be enjoyable if you look for them on YouTube. So we are going to release all of them if possible, but not as a DVD. It would be free on the internet.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Of course. Yeah, and we had like like 2 or 3 cameras, so you get the idea of how it really was. So that that is like a good thing, and you have like live vibe. When you check DVDs nowadays, well, I'm not speaking about any specific bands, but many bands edit things and later on they record some more guitars or they modify the drums and everything. Everything you hear from that gig is real. It's a real thing. So in that sense, it has some value.
Right.
Yeah, that's it, pretty much.
Jefferson, I have a question for you.
Tell me.
You and I were talking on the phone last night, and you said you're about to go on Europe.
Yes, yes.
What would you like to say to the people in Europe?
I mean, if they actually know material, that we will be there. We're actually planning the tour, and we'll be there around the first 2 weeks on May. And I mean, we don't have set up the actual dates yet, but we're actually working on it. So just wait for us and that support metal.
Yes.
Very cliche, but it's true.
It is true. I mean, yeah. The
Are there-
underground music needs support.
All right, guys, this is your album 0 Hour, and I really fucking love this album.
Thanks.
This album
Thanks so much.
last. I gave it a 9 out of 10 stars for the review because it was that damn good. And I love the shirts. Those shirts are killer. I've got mine in my bin, but
Yeah.
what I wanted to ask you about this album was what song or songs stand out to you the most, or what to you inside the music stands out as something that you found to be the best part of what you've written?
For me, there are like 2 or 3 things. First of all, 0 Hour. The middle part. Where it gets calmer, and you have all that like eerie stuff going on. That one. And the last 2 songs, I really love the way they get together. And there is a concept behind them. That is, if you see, the artwork, the last 2 songs is just one in the end. It's like the fall of the Lights Empire, and there are 2 songs. And the first one is about gamma ray extinction, basically, and it's devastating and it's awful. And if if I were living, something like that, I would be like suffering, right? But the other, the other song, the last one, is about looking at the same thing, but from another planet. And when you see all these phenomena of destruction, when you're living it, it's awful. But when somebody else sees from really far away from it, it may be beautiful in a way. So I really love the way that that the album ends in a way that is, for me, beautiful. I mean, it's brutal. It is extreme. It has death metal vocals. It has solos and blast beats and everything. But in the end, it is also beautiful. That is the most significant part of it for me. I don't know if
I mean 0 Hour, because I think I have reached a level of the lyrics. For example, in the part of Polaris Will Remain, that's the biggest part of what from of my lyrics. That's the highest part of the lyrics in the album, so I liked it. But only I like the entire album, but that song the most of the others. ¿Todo bien dicho?
Did you understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry that it goes black and stuff. That's how my camera is sometimes. It
No,
goes.
not a problem. We see perfect. I mean, for me, actually, all of the songs have something special. Some sort of, because if you listen to certain songs like Maxton Creek, I don't know if that's well pronounced because it's in German.
or something?
Or
Maxton Creek.
Maxton Creek, something like that.
Yeah,
If
I
you
wanted
stop-
to ask, what does that mean?
like War of Powers or something like that.
Yeah.
War of Powers, something like that.
Because that's a very impressive song.
Yeah.
That one really stood out in my head. Like, wow.
Yeah, one thing that I like about that kind of song is that if you start listening to that song, you think that is the typical black metal song or something. That is the typical growl, the drums and all of that, and it suddenly changes to something completely different. And that's why the song is always, keep changing all the time. And that is what we try to show. It is like a movie. When you have a climax, when you have a sad story, when you have the breaking part and all of that. So that's pretty much the thing that I think that it's well reached or something. And at the end, it has this kind of climax that ends with a solo, and it is pretty much that. And we can continue. So that's the song for me. And the other things that actually have those kind of breakdowns or some sort of changes that the listeners might say something of, oh, it's a different song or something like that. So that's what I like about them.
Right. I remember talking with you last night, Jefferson. You were telling me about that one guitar part that I was talking about where it's just like, dun, 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 dun. It's like, how is that played? Is that like an augmented chord or a diminish?
Which one? If you tell me the I don't remember because it was very sleepy.
Okay. That's understandable, because I was too a little bit. It was the one that I called like a guitar tangent, where it just goes off. It just goes where it's just like a dun 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 dun. It's hard to explain.
It is the last one, maybe.
I'm not exactly sure. It might be Crimson Sky. I'm not sure, but
Oh,
it
okay.
just had a certain part to it where it sounded like, wow, they just went off on a tangent and just started
Okay,
blasting.
yeah. It is Crimson Sky actually. It's a part of the break that it's actually like two like a question and answer. Something like that. One guitar is doing something. I'm not gonna explain something theoretically because it makes no sense. But no, I can explain, but it's very boring. But actually, that's what we did. One guitar is actually doing the strong beats, and the other is doing some sort of the off beat. So that's why it's giving us that kind of a question and answer part or something that you're talking
Yeah, I just love how you guys can go from melodic to something really brutal out of nowhere. And it's like,
Nice, nice.
holy shit. They got this melodic guitar solo going, and then next thing you know, you hear. It's like, holy shit, these guys are great. You know, it just blows your mind because in a lot of spots, you guys remind me of Solace Requiem and Vomitory. I'm not sure if you're familiar with any of those bands, but Solace Requiem is from the United States, and Vomitory, they're from Sweden. And I definitely heard some spots where it's like, wow, they sound like this band, and then they sound like this band. And I hear this and that, and it's like, wow, they sound like almost everybody combined into one, but they have their own
Yeah.
sound.
That was pretty much like the main purpose. We're trying to blend all of our influences or what we actually like. Not influences actually, but what we like in the moment. Certain songs were completely different. We got into the studio, then we realized that no, too fast, too slow. No, let's add something. No, and at that moment we actually changed certain things.
Actually, you know, the main riff in Mountain Creek, you know, that tan, 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 you know, that one, the first one. That was
Yeah.
a death metal riff in the beginning. So after, you know, we have some rehearsals and everything, we decided that we wanted to do it in a black metal way. So, you know, trial and error with everything. With the same thing with Crimson Sky, with, you know, that part you say, you know, or the question and answer that Jefferson says, you know, that was like pretty much like, we had like two notes. Let's see how, you know, they work together. And, you know, after trial and error, we got, you know, that result.
Trying
I think it all sounds really. Sorry, what's that?
That pretty much was a rehearsal room, trying different things, and that's it.
Yes, absolutely.
Where was the video 0 Hour recorded?
Which one of
O el lanzamiento.
No, el video de el que salimos.
Ah, el ensayo.
the
the rehearsal.
live one? I mean, the one in. But,
El
we have-
del ensayo.
we have-
El que
we
vamos a-
have two. We have, you know, one in a rehearsal room, and another
Yeah.
one. That one. That one was.
Casa Rock.
It's a place called Casa Rock. You know.
Rock House in English.
Yeah, same thing. And you know, they gave us the opportunity to do it, and it was like, it is really a rehearsal. You know, we just did it. You know, it is what it is. Actually, I think that is the first take. We did two takes, and
Habíamos- sí.
yeah, but that was the first one. So.
And what's done is done.
What's done is done. I mean, it is not perfect,
take
but it works. I mean, it sounds a bit like the one that you can hear on the album, but you know, it's just a rehearsal. You know, it works fine.
Yeah, it sounded good to me. Yeah, that video sounded really, really good. In fact, your vocals, Mario, are amazing.
Which one? Mine? Yeah.
I was saying Mario. Your
Mario's-
vocals are really amazing.
Hoy día estoy hablando como la calle.
I didn't.
Así que-
I don't. Did he sing that? But I think he didn't sing that day. I think it was me.
Is that you on there?
No, Mario was there, but I think he didn't sing on the. Did you sing on that one? On the.
¿En su robo?
But you mean on the album, 0 Hour?
Right.
Yeah, he sings on Mountain Creek. That is his.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he
Some backing vocals, but
yeah.
what could I say?
He's actually saying he sings in Maxim Creek song
Free.
3, and he has some sort of backing vocals.
Backing vocals
in the last
0 Hour.
in 0
and the last
Hour,
part,
and in certain parts like backing vocals, and
and Leon's.
they actually have different kind of pitches. They're
Yeah.
completely different. Luis is actually like a higher pitch, and Mario is like more
a crocodile. Or something.
yeah, like like that.
But it works.
But it works.
Black metal, huh?
They actually blend together perfectly. They mix perfectly.
Right. That's awesome because you guys really do well together, all three of you, and I'm very impressed. You know, like I said, this album is just way underrated, and it needs to be rated a little bit more from people in the United States. Give bands from South America a chance. They're like, oh yeah, we listened to Sepultura before, we like them, we like them. But then they hear a different band, like a new band, come out, and they're like, wait, back up. Don't have anything to do with it. That's why there's people like me saying, hey, you want me to represent your band, I'm willing to do it. You know, and here it is. This is proof. That's total proof that I'm gonna help you guys out all the time.
Perfect. Any part
And,
that you actually like the most, or any song?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna say the whole album
That
blows
is-
my mind.
That was
The whole album. The whole album is epic from start to finish. I looked at this one where it says The Fall of the Lights Empire, like you were talking about it being two songs, two separate songs into one.
Yeah.
But is that part of Zero Hour, or is that basically from an earlier demo?
No, actually, it's part of Zero Hour. It is the last two songs of
Okay.
Zero Hour. I mean, we didn't, we played Bright Lights live, like, I think, like half a year before, recording the album. But it is, part of the album. It is not in any demo. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. Yeah.
it is a new song, actually.
Yeah, new song, basically. It was the first. I think that was the first song of Zero Hour. Bright Lights. Yes, because Zero Hour wasn't
Como
ready.
conjunto sí,
Yeah.
pero por ejemplo de Maxton Creek hay un tema.
Yeah, he's basically saying, that Maxton Creek, we had a death metal version of it. I think it is around on YouTube. Like Knell ensayo in Spanish, like rehearsal, and that was the first song, and then it was Bright Lights. But as the the complete song it was Bright Lights, so to speak.
That is very, very cool.
Yep. So yes, that's basically.
Do you ever have plans to tour in the United States?
Yes, actually would love to, but I think it's kind of difficult. I mean, it is difficult everywhere, I know, but we would love to go. If we had like some.
Mexico.
Yeah, New Mexico. Some dates confirmed. I mean, if if the things work, we're definitely going to go there, and yeah, of course, we'd love to go to the States, and there's a cool thing about the United States where you can you rent a van or whatever, you can go touring, and yeah, we'd love to do that, would love to.
That's really, really cool. Okay, do you guys have any jobs outside of your music career?
Yes.
Absolutely, it wouldn't be possible because if we didn't do that.
Here you cannot live based of music, so we do.
Yeah.
Like, what do you guys do for a living specifically?
All the three of us work for an airline. Yeah, contact center, basically, and we all have different positions. You can tell that he is the one that speaks German, and we are the two guys that speak English on the company. So, and actually that helps us, to do things like touring. It is easier for us to tour because it is easier for us to get tickets and the like. And I don't know what the hell he's doing.
I'm lifting some weight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lift something.
Yeah. Yeah. That's heavier than that. Absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, here in Chile, even if you play, like mainstream music, it's absolutely impossible, to live only from music itself. I mean, you have to do some other stuff. I know very few people, who actually live from music, and they pretty much, have to teach music and, play for several bands, like 20 bands or more.
They're homeless.
Oh, that is the other option. That happens sometimes.
Well, that's if you're Bill Robinson from Decrepit Birth. He's homeless. He does that on purpose.
Yeah,
He's a lazy bastard, but he's a cool dude.
that is sometimes an option. I mean, but here's not an option really, because here in Chile, South America is a place where you need to get a job, to be able to buy instruments and everything. Everything is really expensive,
And if you're Chile, worst.
I mean, if things are expensive everywhere here, I mean, we are, pretty much,
No tenemos un impuesto de 20%.
we are really, south in the world, so everything is more expensive because, shipping, and taxes and everything. So we all have to, get a job, to be able to buy instruments and everything.
So in other words, if you want to live based on music, either you have you are a teacher, music teacher, or you sell your instruments. You don't have another option. So
Yeah, I mean, it is.
so
I'm not getting rid of mine.
That happens here.
Not anytime soon.
Of course, so that's it.
Okay. What is your local music scene like? Is there a big metal scene in Santiago?
It's not like a really big scene per se, but there are many, like active bands around. They are doing a good job, keeping metal alive here. So, I mean, there is development in that sense. We have like new bands. We don't have, too many venues where to play in. That is one problem. So maybe all bands, don't have all the opportunities that they would like to have. But there is material. There's people working on it, and I know. I spoke to you about like Inanna back in the day, like, and we have
Right.
like.
Yeah.
In speaking about death metal, have many bands who have done cool stuff, like Inanna, Trimegisto, Stigmatized, and many others, and they do a good job. Have new bands too around, and we're all working on it, but it's pretty much do it yourself in many ways here. So
Understandable.
So there are many people who supports you and helps you, but as I said before, when it comes to underground, if anyone's it's interested in helping, they should do it. I mean, like you are doing now. If you like something, the way you can improve your scene, local scene, or any scene you speak about, is doing things, going to the gigs, buying the things, or just be around. I mean, we really appreciate when people, come around and watch us, in a show, or or when you say, when they say, I like your album, I like one song of yours, or anything, same thing goes for any band here. So if there's any message to the underground anywhere in the world, is that if they want to help, they just should do it. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, that is.
In fact, I love your logo so much, that eventually on this too of Knell. I'm gonna put it like right here.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yep.
Actually, I want to
And
have.
then right below it's gonna be a Homicide logo. So
Awesome.
I'm sure you guys are familiar with Homicide or any bands like that, like Homicide, Nuclear, Forked,
Yeah.
maybe Iconoclast,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hexagram, Metastasis, Magnanimous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, those bands are pretty badass, but for some reason you guys just stood out a lot more than those guys to me for some reason. Like, wow.
Thank you. I mean, that means a lot.
These guys have unique sound. I love it. I want to hear more of it each day. Every time I hear it, I hear something different, and it just blows my mind.
Perfect.
That was the idea. I mean, that happens, when you're. I'm a fan of many metal bands around, and for instance, there's one album that I love, a Knell album, which is In the Darkness Shrines.
Yeah.
And that album, every time I hear it, I hear something different. I get something that I hadn't, picked up before. So
Right.
this is something, that we want to do with our work. If we did it well, you should be able to pick something new, every time you listen to it. I mean, for me is the definition of a good album. So we're really glad that you say that.
Yeah, because you guys are definitely unique and.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are very unique and you guys have a very amazing style to those that love extreme metal. And I want people to hear more of you guys. So those that are watching this interview with Knell from Chile, South America, you guys are fucking awesome. In my book, always, I love you guys, bros. Last question coming up. Okay. Any last words for Underground Noise?
Well, first of all, thank you for your time. Thank you for all the support from the very beginning. Since we began, promoting Zero Hour, even before, the album was out, you were helping us, and that is huge for us, and we absolutely love it. For the people who are watching this, as I said before, support, the bands you like. It's really important for all of us, no matter where you are in the world, that our fans actually, support us in the way they can. We know that sometimes you cannot buy an album. Sometimes you cannot go to a gig because the band lives in the other part of the world or something. But to add them to like their pages in Facebook or whatever they are, to buy a song, everything helps.
Sharing the information.
To share information, about the band also helps. So, if anyone who's watching this, likes Knell, all that we want, is that you spread the word, and do whatever you can for it. And the same thing for any band you like. I mean, if you like another band, it's the same thing. This is a small scene, no matter where you are. And the only way to make it grow is to actually do something like, in this case, Sons from the Underground, and all the bands, all the media who is helping us, is doing. So, well, thank you so much. That is from the bottom of my heart, in my case. I don't know about you guys.
I mean the same. Thank you.
Yeah, for
Thank
me,
you for all
same.
the support.
Yeah, we were speaking before over the phone, and thank you again for all of your work, and that is phenomenal. Thank you again for your patience and for your time, actually.
You're welcome, guys.
And for the
I love
works,
you guys.
for the album,
You
of
guys
course.
you guys are amazing musicians, and I noticed that the cat likes to play with the wall.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a black
We
metal cat,
definitely keep that part in the interview.
Yeah. He really looks like a bat, so he should be a black metal cat. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. My cat, it looks like the grumpy cat, only smaller, and his name's Frost. And I just got food for him today, so. Thanks for taking the time to let me interview you guys. And this is definitely Knell's first official United States interview in support for their tour for Europe. I'm glad you guys can go on tour to Europe coming soon. I can't wait till you guys are able to tour the States, because I'll be happy to throw down and party with you guys and stuff. We'll have some good times.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
You're very welcome, and
Thank you.
I believe that is all for now.